Hey, what's up, guys? We're back for the first show of 2018. And first of all, I just want to say thanks to everyone that started listening to me this past year. I've only put out a few videos. I'm going to start to put out some different content for you guys. I'm going to try to put out some more videos other than just the prediction videos. So hopefully you guys like those too. But once again, I just want to say thank you to everyone that subscribed, listened to me, the small amount of people that I do have. And hopefully we continue to grow this in 2018. I can continue to give you guys these good videos, good content, and yeah. So we're just gonna get right into it with it's gonna be Jeremy Stevens against Choi for this one. It's in St. Louis. It's a pretty good card overall. It has some some solid names on there. And the first fight of the night is Kang against Guido Canetti. And both these guys are coming off pretty extended layoffs. Kang's taken basically 3.5 years off. He's from South Korea, so in South Korea, all those guys have to do military service, same as the Korean Zombie did the same thing. So they have to take off about 3 years of their career, go do that. So that's what Kang did. And Guido Canetti's coming off 2.5 year layoff where he failed a USADA test, and he's 38. So Canetti is the one that I'm more worried about in terms of the layoff because Kang's only 30, and like I said, he went off for a reason. He didn't go off because of suspension. Where now we have to wonder, was Canetti taking that the whole time? How's he gonna look? He's 38 years old, coming back, blah blah blah. So yeah, that's something you have to think about. And Guido Canetti's he's an aggressive striker. He throws like full power in all his shots, but he wanes in really recklessly at times, and he almost runs at his opponent, making him really open to be countered. He just comes in straight lines. That's how he was finished brutally, man, by Alejandro Perez on Tough. That was like a really bad knockout, and Enrique Briones dropped him real bad before he submitted him. So he's definitely taken a lot of damage, and he hasn't fought since Ronda KO'd Betch Correa, so I mean that's just to show you how long ago that was. But he does have big power in his shots. Throws a lot of kicks. He'll throw some kicks to the body, kicks to the legs. Very fast leg kick actually, and he has a nice switch head kick. His takedown defense is really questionable to me, and his defense on the ground is questionable as well. He seems like he doesn't have very good jiu-jitsu either, and he can be controlled on the ground. He has solid cardio, pretty good. He doesn't seem like he gets that tired. He's pretty good at bouncing back, recovering after getting dropped, things like that. So, and in the clinch, he has some nice knees. But I just don't think he's the greatest fighter. He hasn't beaten any big names in his career, and he's actually fought like really low-level competition in the UFC. He fought Hugo Viana, who he lost that fight, then got cut from the UFC, went to the regional scene, and lost to a guy who was like 4-4 or something and retired. So that's like a guy, that's his latest win, man, and that's against a guy who can't even beat questionable regional competition, and he had a war with him. So, and Kennedy doesn't have the greatest fight IQ either. When he rocks his opponent, he'll go to the clinch, go for takedowns. When he knows that he has a disadvantage on the ground, he'll still try to go to the ground. He doesn't seem like he has it all there. He's working on autopilot, it seems like. And Kwon Kang to me was just much more impressive. Well-rounded, more athletic, with much better technique. Real smooth striking, nice front kicks to the body, straight punches. He has some crazy strikes where he'll throw like some spinning heel kicks, things like that. And he's fast, and he keeps you at the end of his combinations, has a pretty good length, and he's good at using it. But he's primarily a grappler. He has really good timing on his shots, and good strength on his body locks. And he's once he gets you down, he can control that top position, and he starts to land some pretty good ground and pound. He's actually pretty good at achieving, mount dominant positions and landing some big elbows. And he also is a submission threat. He attacks with arm bars, triangles. He's big for the division as well, really big. So, I mean, that's something that you really have to look at as well, because Kennedy is a smaller guy for the division. And he has good cardio as well, and he has relentless pressure, man. Comes forward, he never gives you, like, almost a second to breathe. Good scrambling ability. Good accuracy with his ground and pound on the ground, especially when he's like standing in your guard. He's really good at just landing the strikes pinpoint to your face. So, I think he's just way better than Canetti. I think Canetti uses a lot of just straight line attacks where it just becomes very obvious what he's going to do. Um, I just think that Canetti should roll in this one. This is one of my most confident picks of the night. Um, I'm going to say that Canetti hurts or gets hurt on the feet, and Kang takes him down after that and mounts him. And I'm going to say he gets a mounted triangle. I know that's a crazy submission to guess, but I'm going to say he gets a mounted triangle on Canetti, and I think that's how he's going to win, man. And up next we have Mike Santiago against Mads Burnell. And this is an interesting fight, Mads Burnell, I see a lot of people shitting on him of his performance in his last fight, but that was a real tough spot, man. He came in, he had to fight against Michel Prazeres, who's already a borderline to, maybe he is, I'm not positive, but at least borderline top 15 155er. And Burnell's a 145er. And then Prazeres comes in about 4 pounds overweight, so he weighs in at like 159. And Burnell weighs in at 154, 153, something like that. He just came in short notice, just weighed in. So Prazeres had a huge size advantage. And on top of that, Mads Burnell's best game is his grappling, his takedowns, and his submissions. And Prazeres is huge and is a great wrestler. So he was just able to take down and control Mads Burnell. And Burnell got a couple shots off on the feet, things like that. But he was beat up in that fight, and I think it left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, especially it seems like the odds makers, because when I saw the line on this, I was really surprised. I think this is much closer than what they're saying. I think Mads Burnell, is actually an intriguing prospect. He has some well-rounded skills. Early on in this film, you could definitely tell that his hands were terrible. He would just circle the cage, throw bad kicks, and then look to get takedowns. It seemed like he was kind of scared to exchange on the feet, but, lately he's shown a massive jump in his hands, man. He's been putting some serious boxing work in. Crisp combination punching in the pocket, throws to the body and the head, sharp strikes, real clean, good accuracy, speed. Nice teeps to the body as well. And he seems to have good power in his right hand. He's dropped some people with it, hurt some people with it. He's a third-degree black belt, and he's won the European No-Gi Jiu-Jitsu Championship, so he's been successful in Jiu-Jitsu tournaments. He has a couple Japanese neckties in the MMA as well, and he has good setups there. He actually does a good job of, getting his opponent in that position and holding them there and landing strikes as well. He likes to take you down, snap you down, and he likes to work from half guard on top and has really good control, and he tries to, wear you down, loosen you up, and then try to get the arm triangle. But he doesn't want to lose the position, so he's very good, very diligent at, keeping his top position and grinding out the fight. He knows that top position he's winning, so he just doesn't want to lose it. And he seems strong in the clinch as well and does a good job of being active with knees. He lands a lot of knees. Decent wrestling in the clinch, good body locks. He's now moving back to 145, and this is going to be his first test, so we're going to see what he could do against Mike Santiago, who's another tough dude. He puts a lot of pressure on you, and he throws heaters, man. He comes in, he throws a lot of heat, throws big shots, but he does load up on his punches, and gives people the chance, like Burnell, who I think has crisper boxing, to land straight counters, land quick counters, and he also has some nice body kicks, though, and is a solid uppercut, good hooks. He'll walk through your shots, and he seems to take shots well. That's one of his main strengths, walking through your shots to land his own. And he also has been submitted 8 times, but he's won 14 times with submissions. So, he's very active, looking for subs off his back. He likes to attack with the Kimura. But you can get impatient at times, and definitely saw where he was getting up, and the guy that he was fighting on Dana White Contender Series didn't take advantage of it, but he was giving his back, man, where someone easily could take his back. He has a solid takedown game, though, and he'll take you down at the end of combinations, especially when you're against the cage. He doesn't seem to have the best fight IQ either. He'll go for takedowns when he's dominating the stand-up. But he does have some solid cardio and a lot of finishes, so he's a dangerous guy. But he's fought a lot of weak competition, and I just think that he's a little bit too unpolished, a little bit too crazy. And in his first fight against Zabit in the UFC, he really showed a lot of heart. He came forward, landed a couple shots, landed a nice body kick, but he mostly got dominated in that fight. Everyone knows Zabit's a bad motherfucker, but shit, man, he got beat up pretty bad in that fight. So I don't know, man. I'm gonna go with Mads Burnell. I think he's gonna get the upset here, and I actually think he's gonna finish him. So I'm gonna go with Mads Burnell by submission in the third round. And up next we have Danielle Taylor against J.J. Aldridge. And this is a really fun fight, man. I'm a fan of J.J. Aldridge. She's fun to watch, man. She has some really, clean striking, good combinations. She does a good job of keeping her opponents at the end of her, at the end of her strike. She's an experienced fighter she doesn't have a lot of, pro experience or as much pro experience as, she doesn't have it. Looking at her pro record, it doesn't look like she has as much experience as she does. She's been fighting since she's 18 years old. She's fought, a lot of people that are a lot bigger than her. Raquel Pennington, Rachel Olstevik, Kaylin Curran. She's fought, Jamie Moyle, Tatiana Suarez, Juliana Lima. She's fought a lot of, girls who are in the UFC and are high level in the UFC. And, she's a technician, she throws in combination, fast punches, straight right hands. She likes to finish with a hook. She's fast in the pocket, good head movement, sliding just out of the way of your strikes, and she'll come back, throw some nice kicks, front kicks to the body, round kicks to the body, good tie clinch, hard knees. She's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu as well, so she has solid ground and pound and body lock takedowns, and she's solid on top. She lands a lot of hard elbows on top, will go for submissions, arm bars, things like that. And one of the things that I really like about her is she never gets off balance with her striking. She's really composed, never gets out of position. And Danielle Taylor really likes to take advantage when her opponents get out of position. When they get out of position or when they, try to explode and maybe get a little off balance, that's when Danielle Taylor comes in with her explosive entries, lands some nice shots, and but JJ also is a pressure fighter who likes to cut off the cage and land combinations. And I think that JJ really struggles with people that, try to take her down. She has a good job of, winning the first battle on takedown defense where she'll be able to stop the first one. But once people try to go for that second, start chaining takedowns together, that's when JJ starts to have a problem. And I know she actually seems to struggle to get up off her back against a lot of people. And Danielle Taylor's someone who's really good at winning decisions, man. She gets points with her style. Her style is just to move around the cage, throw very little, and circle, use her speed, not get hit, and then time explosive entries, land overhand rights. She likes to throw to the head, and she actually in her last fight started to throw a little more to the body against Jessica Panay, and she was able to land more. She's really fast, actually, and when she gets in with her punches, she looks explosive, man. She comes in, she'll land a few punches with her combinations, but she just doesn't do it enough for my liking. I wish she would attack more. She'll throw a leg kick to the body occasionally. And she's shown improvement in her aggression, and she was actually feinting, able to get inside, land some shots against Jessica Panay, but she was still largely inactive, and she has good takedown defense, but she did struggle with getting kneed in the tie clinch, something that JJ's very good at. And she does have big power, so she lands clean, she can change the fight, and she has good cardio as well, and she won't deviate from her game plan, regardless of the crowd. They've been booing in a lot of her fights, and she doesn't care, she's going to keep doing what she does and get the win her way, and but I actually thought she lost her fight against Sihu Ham, and she had a really close fight against Jessica Panay, who's just not the best striker as well, so that was really interesting to me to see, and people are saying Danielle Taylor's going to try to get takedowns in this fight, but that's just something that I haven't seen her do. She hasn't been doing that at all in her fights. I see her doing the same strategy she's always been, which is circling the cage and waiting for moments to counter. But I think JJ is just too clean, too balanced, and never out of position, man. Very technical. I think she's going to use a lot of leg kicks, straight combination punching, and word on Taylor. I think she's going to get the decision here. This is kind of like a hometown fight for JJ too. She's fought in Missouri 4 times now. A lot of Invicta fighters, have a big following here because Invicta comes here so often. So I think that's also why there's a lot of females on this card. But yeah, so I'm gonna go with JJ Aldrich here. I think she's gonna be able to get it done in that one. And up next we have another fight with Toledo Bernardo against Irene Aldana. And this is another fight that I'm fairly confident in. Toledo Bernardo is a big girl. She's a good grappler. She showed some solid wrestling, top control, some good jiu-jitsu in her last fight against Marion Renault. Really good heart. She wasn't giving up. She was, able to survive, able to put Marion Renault in some uncomfortable positions, took her back, things like that. But she gassed very hard in that fight, and it was on short notice, but she just showed that she's just a one-trick pony, man. She just tries to ragdoll her opponents to the ground and doesn't have much wrestling. So she just, like I said, she'll try to ragdoll you to the ground. Very bad shots from far away. And on the feet, man, she's just extremely green, flat-footed, arm punches, kicks with very little power, really slow, really slow at retracting her hands back to her face. Throws one shot at a time a lot, and just off balance with her striking, bad defense. She does seem to have a solid chin, and she uses that to just get hit, come inside, and she'll try to get desperate with those takedowns, and she can get you down, that's where she gets you in trouble, because she's tough, and she'll be able to, get on top with her black belt and do some damage, but other than that, like I said, her striking is just very terrible. And Aldana's a striker, light on her feet, good footwork, good punch combinations, really good head movement, good power as well. Finisher, she's finished all 7 of her wins. She came to the UFC with the hype train, her and Alexa Grasso both. And both of them have fallen on some hard times in the UFC. Aldana's lost her last 2, but she's actually had some good performances. She's fought 2 tough girls. She fought Leslie Smith in a back-and-forth war, and Caitlin Chukagian, who I think is one of the best 125ers in the world now. And, so you got to give her credit for hanging in there in those fights. And this is a big drop in competition, so I think they're definitely trying to get Aldana the win here. And she's going to be the much more well-rounded fighter, better striker, good jab, good counter-striking. She's good at exchanging in the pocket, and she has no problems throwing down. Good recoverability, good chin. When she gets in a rhythm striking and goes forward, she can be, really devastating with her combinations. She really is worse when she's getting pushed back. I think Bernardo would need to take Aldana down early and often, break her rhythm. But I don't know, man. I just don't think she's going to be able to do it. I think Aldana's going to get in a rhythm. I think she's going to be in that rhythm all night. I think she's going to land a nice inside leg kick. She's going to avoid the takedown. She's going to start jabbing her up. She's going to start countering Bernardo. I think Bernardo's going to get very tired come that 3rd round. And I actually think Aldana's going to get the finish here. So I'm going to say Irene Aldana by 3rd round TKO. I think she'll finish it. And up next, we have a fight at 125 between Jess Guy and Kalindra Ferreira. And this is a fight that I really don't have a good read on, man. Very low-level fight, in my opinion. Kalindra Ferreira is a girl that I watched her fight in Titan against Karina Dam, and Karina Dam is just not a very good fighter. Lost 4 or 5, very old. Just throws terrible combinations on the feet. Doesn't have very good striking, and Ferreira wasn't able to take her out. She wasn't even able to, hurt her at all. And Kalindra Dam really is a tough girl, though. I mean, I don't think she's, I'm not sure if she's ever been KO'd besides when she fought against that one girl, what's her name, Muna Holland, something like that. So I remember watching that fight where she got finished, so she's tough to finish, but I'm just saying it just was a tough fight, 5 rounds, and Dam was actually getting her shots in as well. And Ferreira's a decent striker on the feet, but she showed in her fight against Barella in her first UFC fight that just on the ground. She has some serious deficiencies on the ground. Barella was able to just dominate her on the ground and submit her with the quickness. So I don't know, man. This is just, and it's hard to bet on Jessica Eye, man. She's lost 4 in a row, 5 out of her last 6, and she's been really campaigning to get that fight with Paige Van Sant. Paige Van Sant's on this card, so it's a little bit funny that Paige couldn't fight her, everything blasey, but now they're on the same exact card fighting at the same time, and so I don't know, man. It's a little bit strange, but Jessica I actually think would have been an easier opponent for her than Jessica Rose Clark, which is funny, but Jessica I has always been saying that she's the best 125er in the world. Just wait till they get that division. She's going to go down and dominate, but I just don't see it, man. Jessica I is a person that's lost to Betch Correa. She lost to Sarah Command in a terrible fight, just boring as hell. And, she's hard to finish. She used to have some pretty solid striking, but it seems like she's very inactive now. But I don't know, man. This is a fight that I just keep going back and forth on because both people just aren't, they're hard to pick, man, both of them. And I'm going to go with Jessica I. I think that Jessica I has her back against the wall here, and she loses, I think she could lose her career, man. I think her career could be over if she loses this fight, so I don't know. I'm going to go with Jessica I, but really reluctantly in that one, so I think it'll be a decision, maybe a split decision, something like that, but up next we have Zach Cummings against Thiago Alves, and this is a really intriguing fight. Zach Cummings is a huge welterweight, and Thiago Alves is a small welterweight, so that definitely is something you have to look at, but Zach Cummings is well-rounded, big power with the stand-up. He actually has shown much more fluid hand striking recently, much quicker hands and much faster, good jab, quick straight punches, and, but he can be countered. Seems like he has really good chin, man. He was walking through head kicks from Ponzinibbio and smiling, things like that, and, he has a black belt, back-to-back submissions, really good jiu-jitsu, good arm locks and chokes. He had a really nice submission in his last fight against Nathan Choi. Heavy on top, works quickly on top as well. He can get submissions with the quickness. He walks through punches, heavy leg kicks. He's a southpaw, hard left hand. He does fade in that third round, but he's having the best run of his career, man. He's going 4-1 in his last 5 fights. The one loss was to Santiago Ponzinibbio in a back-and-forth fight, back-to-back finishes. He's going to be fighting again in Missouri with James Krause. Both those guys fight at Glory. And, the last time they did that, they both won as well. So, and Zach Cummings' last fight was in Missouri as well, and it was a very dominant victory. Cummings pressures you heavy, makes you fight moving backwards. And he's been very animated recently. In his last fight, he was talking about how he wanted respect, he wanted a top 15 guy, things like that. And, Thiago Alves is exactly that, man. He might not be a top 15 guy, but he's a guy that everyone knows, everyone respects. And, I'd almost say he's a legend in the UFC. He's fought for forever. He beat guys like Matt Hughes and Josh Koscheck, things like that. He's beat a lot of really good guys. And, but recently, he's just not as good as he used to be, man. He went down to 155 after getting knocked out by Condit, and that just wasn't a good decision. He was completely drained, didn't make the weight, and, Jim Miller was able to take him down, dominate him in that fight, but he came back, man, against Patrick O'Tay at UFC 210. He looked amazing, man. That was one of the best he ever looked in his whole UFC career, if you ask me. He looked really good. One of the best performances he had in years, man. And he was just able to dominate Patrick O'Tay. He landed a lot of hard leg kicks. He was landing some nice right hands. Dropped Patrick O'Tay a couple times. Looked very quick, really good in the pocket. And just looked really good. Looked like the old Thiago, man. And but he's had some struggles this past year with his fighting. He was supposed to fight Mike Perry on that card that Perry fought Ponzinibbio, right? I believe so. And or it might have been rescheduled after that, but he was supposed to fight Mike Perry, and he had to pull out due to that Hurricane Irma in Florida, and apparently his dog died, and his family was living, in a church, something like that. So it was a really bad time for him. He didn't fight, and so he's had a really extended training camp for this one, and he's older, man. At the end of his career, I think Zach Cummings is the one that's, more on the come up. And I think Zach Cummings is someone that's going to be able to nullify that leg kicking game by just making Thiago work moving backwards. I think he's going to put a lot of pressure on Thiago. And unless Thiago can stun him, hurt him early, drop him, maybe something like that, and then get him tentative for the rest of the fight, I just don't see a path to victory here for Thiago. I think Zach Cummings is going to put that pressure. He's going to start landing heavy shots. He might rock Thiago, and then I think Thiago is going to get submitted, man. I think Zach Cummings is going to be able to get on top maybe the second or third round. And I think he's going to be able to pull off a submission here. So I'm going to go with Zach Cummings. And that's another fight that, I'm fairly confident in. But Thiago definitely could win. So up next we have Marco Pollo Reyes against Matt Frivola. And this is a fight where I see a lot of people are very heavy on Matt Frivola, man. A lot of people are max betting Matt Frivola, things like that, and I think that's a little bit crazy. Matt Frivola is a guy that's trains out at Serra-Longo, but he's a grinder. He freaking throws a lot of crazy unset up hooks, just comes in really wild, and just tries to overwhelm his opponents, and he's been able to do that against a lot of guys. He's been able to overwhelm some pretty good guys. He overwhelmed Raush Manfio, who's a pretty good prospect, a guy that's going to be coming to the UFC pretty soon, if you ask me. He actually already fought on Tough, and so yeah, he beat some good guys. He also beat Jose Flores on the Dana White Contender Series, and he likes to break you. He likes to come in, throw some big shots, just fuck his chin, fucking hurt himself. He's just gonna go to hurt you, and takes down, he has good submissions, actually, good arm bars, good triangle attempts, and good rear naked choke and everything like that. But really his submissions are just off after he hurts you. He doesn't really go for takedowns himself, to be honest with you. And Marco Polo Reyes is a guy that's used to fighting in wars. He had that war with Don Young Kim, where back and forth, and he was able to get the win there, and he's actually had a lot of good fights. He had a nice fight against Cesar Arzumendia where he got a big KO. Good fight against Jason Novelli. He has some clean, straight punches. Good boxing, actually. Good chin. Really good heart. He's able to walk through things. And, he's also a decent grappler, but he doesn't really go for it at all. But he has some good anti-wrestling and things like that. But once he gets taken down, I'm really not sure what he has after he gets taken down. I've seen him get submitted pretty easily in some of his fights. But this has the making of a barn burner, man, where both guys are pretty fearless strikers, and Frivola is the one that's going to be coming in with the looping hooks, the big power, and he can rock you if he lands clean and take you down, opportunistic with the submissions. But he's open to being countered, man, especially by straight punches. And, he actually does a good job of feinting takedowns, coming back up with punches. But I'm not really sure how truly good his wrestling is. I think he's someone that, has heart. He's never going to stop. I think you're going to have to put him out, someone like that. And Reyes is a bit more technical, though. He lands some straight punches, good kicks, combinations. He likes to fight in the pocket, and he isn't as good as when you're using footwork, when you're moving around on the outside. He struggles. But good knees, good elbows, and a clinch, and he'll come forward unless you put him away too, man. But he's taken a lot of punishment in his recent fights. Was KO'd by James Vick. And Matt Frivola's undefeated, and he's used to overwhelming people with pressure and punching power. And I think he's just going to run into a guy with better striking, grit and determination. And I think that Frivola is actually going to get lost here. I think that Marco Polo is going to be able to weather the storm early. I think that if Rivola wins, it's going to be an early TKO or submission. But I'm going to go with Marco Polo, man. I think Marco Polo is going to be able to survive, and I think he's going to be able to win the second and third round. And I'm going to go with Marco Polo Reyes for the win here by decision. And up next, we have a great fight. We have James Krause against Alex White. And this is a fight that's really interesting. James Krause is a guy that stands up very straight with his striking, and it puts him in trouble. It makes him able to be hit, and it makes it easier to take him down. But I think that he actually doesn't care about being taken down, to be honest. He has great sweeps, good off of his back, and I think that he's the cleaner striker in this fight. He throws a lot of fast, straight punching combinations, mixes in kicks. He's good at punching going backwards and forwards, solid jab. And when he gets that pumping and gets a straight left, that's when he really can get it going. He does a good job of, sliding just out of the way of your shots and coming back with clean, sharp shots of his own. Stands very tall, though, like I said, with his chin high, and he gets clipped a lot with punches. And if someone wanes in aggressively and can just, overwhelm Krause, that's where he can get in trouble sometimes. But he is a good grappler, good timing on his takedown attempts, and, when he gets you down, he does a good job of holding position, and good job of looking for submission attempts, good chokes and arm locks, good sweeps off his back, like I said, and then he also has solid cardio, but he does get a bit tired in that third round too. And Alex White's the more gritty guy. He's aggressive, comes forward, wild straight line combinations at times. He's either crashing the distance with their flurry of punches or not doing anything, though. I kind of saw that in a lot of his fights, that when he wasn't attacking, he was very inactive, and it could just lose him rounds, just through sheer volume. And he has good power, and when he attacks, it's usually, pretty ruthless. He comes in, he'll throw some big strikes, big combinations, hooks, elbows. In the clinch, he likes to, if you clinch up with him, he just starts to land some big punches in the clinch, and good chin. Uses it in his fights to get inside. He doesn't go for the takedown much himself, and he actually has questionable takedown defense. Clay Collard was able to take him down easily. Tony Martin was able to take him down. And I think Alex White's gonna have to hurt James Krause to get him in much trouble. I think Krause is cleaner on the feet, and if he doesn't hurt him, I think Krause is gonna be able to pot shot him from the outside and just land more volume. And Krause is gonna be bigger in this fight. He's coming off fighting a lot of 170 pounders, and Alex White is a former 145er in the UFC, and so he's gonna be used to fighting a lot bigger guys, and I think he's just cleaner on the feet. I think he needs to avoid the blitzes and just put his chin down a little more, tuck his chin a little more. And I think Krause is going to be able to get a lot of takedowns in this fight. I think he's going to be able to take down Alex White a lot. And I think that he'll get the decision here. I think that him and Zach Cummings are both going to come home and pick it up for Glory MMA. So I'm going to go with James Krause here by decision, and I think he's going to win that one. And up next, we have Michael Johnson against Darren Elkins in a really, really interesting fight, man. Michael Johnson, everyone knows what Michael Johnson has, man. Michael Johnson's a guy who was a former lightweight. Now he's coming down to 145 because he's lost 4 of his last 5 fights. But Michael Johnson's still no joke, man. He's lost some fights to some guys that are just animals. He lost to Khabib. Lost to Nate Diaz, who's just a beast as well. Lost to Justin Gaethje. Got robbed by Beneil Dariush, man. He won that fight against Dariush. And then he also has some extremely, extremely high-level wins, where he's beaten guys like Dustin Poirier, Edson Barbosa, KO'd Gleison Tebow, beat Tony Ferguson, beat guys, Joe Lozon. He's beaten a lot of very good guys, man. He's extremely fast, really quick, and he can use it in both ways, man. He can use it in forward movement, close the distance, and land hard shots in the pocket, kicks, and just put heavy pressure on you like he did against a guy like Barbosa. Or he can stick and move with the jab from the outside. He can, work moving backwards. He's a southpaw, has a really hard left hand, and like he did against Beneil Dariush, so he definitely has 2 ways of striking he can go, and he could leave people knocked out cold, man. Against Poirier, that left was just really nice, man. And good job of having a left cross to the body and a right hook to the head combination. And really fast with his kicks, man. He throws nice low leg kicks, nice kick to the body. And he's good at being the one to land in the pocket, man, where both guys will land in the pocket, but he might just land harder. He lands with the next shot, and he has good head movement in the pocket, man. He stays in that pocket longer than most fighters, too. I mean, that's something that I really noticed, where Michael Johnson will just plant his feet, man. He'll plant his feet and just wing it in the pocket, and he doesn't care about getting hit himself. And he was a JUCO wrestler, but that's actually been his weakness in a lot of his UFC fights, especially early on. He seems like he's actually fixed this up, but early on, back in 2012, right after he got off the Ultimate Fighter, things like that, he was struggling with people that had grappling heavy game plans. He got submitted by Paul Sass, and if anyone remembers Paul Sass, he was a guy who was a someone that would pull guard and get submissions, and he actually was really good at it for a while. He actually got submissions on a few people. I remember he got Jacob Volkman as well. And, he actually lost as well to Miles Jury and Reza Madadi in fights where he was grinded out. But since then, man, he's really shown big improvements in his takedown defense. And he got grinded out by Khabib. But, I mean, everyone got grinded out by Khabib, man. And Darren Elkins is someone who's a grinder, he's on the best run of his career, training at Alpha Male. He's won 5 in a row. He just beat a top 10 guy in Dennis Bermudez, even though I thought that was a very questionable decision, man, to be honest with you. That was very close. And he's a wrestler. He's opportunistic with the striking. Everyone saw that when he KO'd Mirsad Bektic in, one of the best comebacks in the history of MMA. So everyone knows he's not going to quit, man. And this is going to be the second fight in a row that Henry Hoof's going to be in the corner against Darren Elkins as well. He was in the corner against Darren Elkins with Dennis Bermudez, so maybe he's going to be able to see something. But, Darren Elkins is slow on the feet and, doesn't really have much striking at all to talk about. Nice straight right hand, but he really just wants to close that distance, get a hold of you. And when he gets a hold of you, he's really good at just getting attached to you, man. He just doesn't let go. Really good body locks. Makes it ugly, he gets desperate with takedown attempts at times, though, especially you could tell against Bermudez, he was getting very desperate. And if he can't take Michael Johnson down, this fight will be over quick, man. Michael Johnson's just too fast, too athletic, and while Elkins, I think, is opportunistic and he's never going to quit, I just don't see him having the physical tools to beat a guy like Michael Johnson, man. Michael Johnson's someone who's just a beast, dude. And I'm going to go with Michael Johnson by TKO in round 2. I do want to really look closely, though, at the weigh-in for that fight, because if Michael Johnson looks, very weary, very tired, that he can't make the weight, then that's something that we have to really look into as well, because, he did say things like he's never been 145 since middle school, things like that. So if he's really super drained, then maybe Elkins would have a shot at it. But other than that, I'm pretty confident in saying Michael Johnson's going to finish this one out. And up next, we have Kamaru Usman against Emil Meek. And this is a pretty straightforward fight, if you ask me. Usman is just a guy that's just much better than Emil Meek, man. Emil Meek is a wild man inside the cage and outside the cage, to be honest with you. He's a Viking, extremely aggressive, likes to throw punches and kicks in combination. He comes a lot with really straight line attacks, and he comes forward running almost, where it just makes him very easy to get taken down. And he looks for the KO at all times, though, and he can get hit coming in, has a good chin, and but like against a guy like Jordan Meehan, the first round he was getting dominated. He was getting taken down, getting beat up on the feet, and just like a guy against Kamaru Usman, who's just showed big improvements in his striking against Sergio Moraes, and just walked him down and knocked him out brutally. A guy who's undefeated in the UFC. I think he's 6-0, and he's just a great wrestler, man. I think he's gonna be able to take down Kamaru Usman at will, or take down Emil Meek at will, and I think he's actually going to be better on the ground, much better on the ground, man. And I think that it's going to be over pretty quick, man. I'm going to go with Kamaru Usman to take him down and pound him out in that first round, man. I just think Kamaru Usman's on a mission. I think that he has bigger sights in mind, and I think that he's someone that's going to come in and, show no mercy, and he's not going to play any games whatsoever with this guy. I think he's going to take him out early with big, heavy ground and pound, and I think that he's going to put a statement and just show everyone that he's not here to play, and he's someone that could really be a factor in the welterweight division, man. I don't see many guys out there that are lining up to fight him or that could beat him, man. I would love to see a fight between him and Darren Till. Love to see a fight between him and, the higher caliber of that division. And after this one, I hope that's what he gets, man, because he definitely deserves it. And up next, we have Paige Van Zandt against Jessica Rose Clark. And, Paige Van Zandt's back, man. And who knows? I know that the UFC, I really think they really want to push Paige here. They gave her Jessica Rose Clark just a few days after, Jessie Jess beat Beck Rawlings. And I think that they're trying to find someone that they know that she could beat, because I think they saw her get taken down and held down by Pam Sorensen. I think they saw her get taken down by Pannie Kinseyad, and I think they saw her just struggle with that. And I think they saw her struggle as well with Sarah Kaufman, and they just believe that well, if they could take her down and they could dominate her like that, then maybe Paige can as well. And, they saw that Paige finished Beck Rawlings maybe, and this girl didn't finish Beck Rawlings. Maybe that was also, put into account. But that finish against Beck Rawlings was just very fluky, man. I mean, that kick was extremely fluky, if you ask me. But Paige is someone that I think is definitely going to want to come in and try to take it down to the ground. Definitely try to grind in this fight against a girl like Jessie Jess, because I think Jessie Jess just has better striking. I think she has good kicks. Chris Pan's actually a good jab, and I think she's actually better than Paige, man. I don't know, man. Paige, I know the UFC is desperate for Paige to be good to get that belt, in my opinion. I think they really would love her to be the champion at 125. But shit, man, I think sometimes it's just hard to put that genie back in the bottle, dude. She took so much time off where she was just doing other things. She was doing Dancing with the Stars, TV shows, things like that. And there's nothing wrong with that at all, but I think that just might be her future, man. I think her future might be in that. I think it might not be in MMA. All the people that she's beaten in the UFC, other than Felice Herrig, which was a very good win, actually. When you look at it now, it's kind of hard to believe that she beat Felice. But, Alex Chambers, someone that's 5-4, I think, and 1-4 in the UFC. Kaylin Curran, she beat, who's 4-6 or something like that, and I think she's 1-6 in the UFC or something crazy, 1-5. And Beck Rawlings, Beck's lost 3 in a row. She got that robbery win over Siru Ham, but she's lost basically 5 out of 6 if you count that one. So that's the competition that Paige is beating. And then when she fights higher level competition, like when she fought Rose Namajunas, she just gets absolutely dominated. When she fights Michelle Waterson, she gets absolutely dominated. And I think that Jessica Rose Clark's going to be the bigger woman. I think that Paige Van Zandt going home back to Oregon, and I just think that's another thing that just shows a lack of discipline, man. Team Alpha Male is a great camp. It's somewhere where she was honing her skills. She's flourishing, and a lot of people are flourishing there, and she decided to leave to go back home to just be with her family, which, is a commendable thing, but it's just something that a top-level athlete, I'm not sure, would be doing the same thing, like all these other guys take time off to go do their training camps, things like that, and, Paige is someone that it seems like she didn't want to do that anymore, and that's just a telltale sign to me of someone that just doesn't feel like they're fully committed, like Paige has 1 foot in, 1 foot out in this, and just due to that, I'm going to go with Jessie Jess, I think Jessie Jess is going to be bigger, the better striker, and I think that if she tries to take her down, I think that Jessie Jess is going to be able to stop the takedown or even reverse to get on top. And I think Jessie Jess is going to get the decision here, and I'm going to go with Jessica Rose Clark. And Up next, we have the co-main event, and it's Vitor Belfort against Uriah Hall. And this is another really weird fight, man. A lot of weird shit could happen on this card, huh? Like Vitor could win, Paige Van Zandt could win and call out and get the title shot. Fucking Darren Elkins could get a win over Michael Johnson, Thiago Alves could come back. A lot of crazy shit could kind of happen on this card, Really, in reality, these fights aren't that far off. Kamaru Usman could get knocked the fuck out and big shake up at 170. Who knows, But this fight, I actually think, man, it's really hard to think one guy's gonna win. But Vitor, everyone knows since the TRT ban, he's just been a shell of himself. Got destroyed by Souza, got destroyed by Gegard, destroyed by Kelvin Gastelum, and I thought he actually lost to Nate Marquardt, but they gave him that win, and that might be the type of fight that I see here, man. I don't know. Uriah Hall, if he comes in with the attitude that he's going to come in and really go to work here, I think he could really fuck up Vitor and beat him up bad, but could be a staring contest as well, just like the Nate Marquardt fight, Uriah Hall takes a long time to get ready, You saw that against Krzysztof Jotko. He was getting destroyed in that fight before he came back and won, and I think Vitor definitely could fucking land one of his big flurries, man. Come in, vintage Vitor, land one of his flurries and get the win. And I would not be surprised at all to see that in reality. Uriah's chin is very questionable. He got TKO'd by Gegard, TKO'd by Derek Brunson. And both those guys are very high level. I understand that. But just the way that he got knocked out was questionable, And but I'm going to go with Uriah Hall, man. I just can't pick Vitor Belfort, and it's more of a USADA Vitor fade than any faith on Uriah Hall. This is a fight that's just, to me, 60-40 for Uriah, and I'm going to say Uriah Hall wins by decision here, or by early knockout. I think it'll either be an early knockout for Uriah, or it's a boring decision where they're kind of staring at each other, but okay, on to the main event. We have Jeremy Stephens against Doo Choi. And this is going to be violence personified right here, man. Doo Choi is a guy that just came into the UFC with a huge bang. He had 3 straight knockouts all in the first 3 minutes of the first round. And then followed that up with a fight of the year against Cub Swanson in 2016. And taking a year off, and I actually like that. I like that he's taking time off, giving his body a chance to rest, giving his head a chance to rest, and coming back here in January, and we're going to see, a lot of these guys that are young like this, 25, 26 years old, this is like the time where they really show big leaps and jumps in their game fight to fight. They really show big steps in their striking or in their grappling, things like that. And Doo is someone that just has great timing, man. That right hand is just very extremely accurate, great power, and he could just knock you out with that. But against Cub Swanson, he was very open, was getting hit a lot, and Jeremy Stephens in his last fight had a great performance, man. He was landing some huge leg kicks against Gilbert Melendez, big shots, and was shucking off takedowns, and he looks really good when he fights, guys that really want to fight, when he fights guys that aren't gonna, besides Max Holloway. Max Holloway did it to him. Frankie Edgar, had a great fight in that fight against Frankie Edgar. He actually dropped Frankie in that first round, had him hurt bad. In that fight against Renato Moicano was kind of point fighting him. And, I just don't see, Doo doing that. I think Doo Choi is gonna come in and, really try to, put the pressure on him, try to stay in his face, and it's just hard for me to see him not getting hit with one of those bombs by Jeremy Stephens, man. Jeremy Stephens is a guy that's just unbelievable, man. He has unbelievable power. He's been fighting at this top level for so long and very hard to put away. Jeremy Stephens hasn't been finished since he got KO'd by Yves Edwards, and that was a flash KO, and that was all the way back in 2012, man. And besides that, I'm not sure if he's ever been KO'd or TKO'd besides that. And he's fought a lot of high-level guys, man. He's beat guys like RDA. He's beat guys like Cole Miller. He's beat guys like Henan Barral, Darren Elkins, Dennis Bermudez, Gilbert Melendez. He's beat a lot of high-level guys, and I think that Doo Ho Choi is definitely someone to keep an eye on. Definitely someone that's a new breed of fighter, someone that can be a 145er to look out for the future, and definitely will be. But I'm actually going to go Jeremy Stevens here, man. I'm going to say Jeremy Stevens gets a TKO KO, and I'm going to go within the late third round. I'm going to say TKO's Doo Ho Choi. And I'm actually going to do something new with these cards, where I'm going to give you guys, my two most confident picks, and then also give you my upset pick. And my two most confident picks are Kang is my most confident pick against Guido Canetti. And then my second most confident pick would be Zach Cummings to beat Thiago Alves. I think both those fights are, pretty good fights, but I think that there's clear advantages for those guys, and I just think that both of them are going to get the win, especially Kang. I'm very confident about that. And if I was going to say to do a 3-team parlay, my parlay would be Kang, Irene Aldana, and Zach Cummings. And then for my upset of the night, I think Mads Burnell is going to be able to get the upset. I think that he's someone that has a pretty good shot there, and also Marco Polo Reyes. But I'm going to say Mads Burnell is going to be my upset pick of the night, and I think he's going to win that one as well. So there you guys have it. I hope you guys liked it, and subscribe to the channel for more. I'm going to be doing more content for you guys in 2018, and I'm going to be trying to do more videos for you guys, maybe some post-fight reactions, things like that, some, day-to-day news. So maybe you'll be hearing more of me, maybe you'll get sick of me, maybe you won't. Tell me in the comments if you guys would like watching those videos as well, and tell me what you think about the parlay of the week, things like that, if you enjoy that. And that's not something that I'm saying go out and bet on, like I'm betting on it personally, but that's just what I see. I'm trying to give you guys a little nugget there, and hopefully you can get a win. Hopefully we can get a win together, and so hope everyone enjoyed the show, and hope everyone's having a great 2018 so far, and I think that we're going to have a great 2018 together with MMA Prediction Guru, and I'm ready to give you guys good picks, and yep, so everyone have a great day. Subscribe for more. Thanks.